dams might be full again in North Queensland. And while there is relief that water supply is secure for now, as we head into the dry season, high power prices are starting to bite. But as Renee Clough found out, more farmers are using the natural lay of the land, or gravity, to cut down on pump irrigation costs.
In the sandy soils of Paddy's Green, just outside Mareeba, Matt Feely grows avocados, mangoes and limes. Thirsty crops during the dry season, but he's made some significant water and energy savings by making a few relatively low-cost changes to his irrigation system.
One of the major changes we made was creating a closed circuit of our supply water. It all comes from Tinaroo through the channels, and when we got here, it was initially open a tap, fill the holding dam, and then pump out of the holding dam. I saw that as an enormous waste of energy because Tinaroo Dam is situated much higher than what we are. It's all gravity fed, and there's an enormous amount of energy supplied by that water. So we created a closed circuit for that supply water directly into the back of the pump and installed a variable frequency drive so that the pump could just irrigate whichever block we were currently watering at a preset level, and the variable frequency drive would just change the amount of energy required from the pump to maintain the preset pressure. What that has done is it's meant we don't have any evaporation, we don't have any leaking or seepage from the dam, and also we get approximately 25 psi of pressure free from Tinaroo.
What was the initial outlay and what do you reckon you've saved in energy costs?
Yeah, so the initial outlay was about $500-600 worth of piping, $300 tap and a $2,500 VFD. So it paid itself back within about 6 months. We've at least halved our electricity.
Andrew Chamberlin is the manager of the Energy Savers program for the Queensland Farmers Federation, which has conducted audits on 130 farms across the state since 2016. He says variable speed drives have also been recommended in the region with success to make the most of the gravity.
So we did one locally at a banana farm just outside Mareeba, and from one pump, they irrigate out of a dam to 11 different banana blocks at different points on the hill, and they're all slightly different sizes. So one pump was irrigating each block for about 500 hours a year. What we recommended that they do is put a variable speed drive on the pump, and that allows it to put just the right amount of water at the right pressure to each of the blocks. And it varies with each block because it is at a different height and a different size. So each block needs a different amount of water to do the irrigation. So they've made a huge energy saving, but some of the other benefits that they've found are that the pump works less hard. So some of the blocks that aren't quite so far up the hill, the pump is noticeably running slower. And also the amount of water that they put on the blocks is the same no matter what block it is. So they now know that each plant is getting the same amount of water. So as well as some great energy savings, and they'll get the money back for the VSD within 2 years. So they're saving about $20,000 a year on that. But the thing that's really interesting to them is that that more even watering. So hopefully that'll turn into productivity, but certainly lower maintenance on the pumps, and the pumps are working less to do the same job.
Do you find farmers do consider things like gravity when they're looking at their pumps and the energy efficiency of their pumps? Is it something that tends to get missed?
Yeah, well, definitely. Gravity is such a big part of pumping in an area like Mareeba, where there's a lot of hills and things, but also there's a lot of talk at the moment around pumped hydro storage, but irrigators can do the same thing. And I know of a grower up here who's talking about pumping water uphill into a dam up at the top of a hill during the day or during the night time whenever the power's cheapest, and then just releasing that into the irrigation system overnight and irrigating using gravity. So there's those kind of options as well. So you can pump for a longer period at a slower speed with the pump, so at a lower demand and lower cost, and then just use gravity to irrigate.
Andrew Chamberlin, who's the manager of the Energy Savers program for the Queensland Farmers Federation, ending that report by Renee Clough about gravity feeding water for irrigation. It makes a lot of sense, And yes, there's some costs involved with modernising your irrigation, but the Queensland Government recently announced another 200 audits as part of that program, with $4 million available for farmers to implement recommendations. Applications are open until the end of May, and details can be found on the Queensland Farmers Federation and Queensland Government websites.